Hello, grade fours. I hope that you're having a great first day of online school. I hope that it's not too scary, and I can't wait to see you in person in a week's time, hopefully. Today, we're going to learn about the place value of 3-digit numbers. Okay, so you can go to your own textbook at home and you can go to page 1 with me and you can have a look at the Panda. I would encourage you to read this on your own and try and say those words out loud and to say the numbers out loud. Okay, so let's read this one. The giant panda weighs about, can you say that number? Try and say it. So you've got a 1, a 2, and a 5. The 1 stands for 100, the 2 stands for 20, and the 5 stands for 5. So let's say that number again. The giant panda weighs about 125 kilograms. At birth, the cub weighs about 113 grams. The 1, and the 3 stands for 113 grams. Giant pandas are an endangered species. There are only about 1,000 giant pandas left in the wild in the world. Okay, so it's important to be able to read numbers and to know how they work, because we can't always just read this and go 1000. We need to be able to say 1000. And we know that there's also a way to write that number out. Okay, so let's have a look here. It tells us, this is very important. It's just a piece of information. And it tells us that whenever you see these 3 different types of blocks, that they represent different things. The blue block always represents 100. And if you count the number of blocks in here, you can see that there are 100 of them. The red block, can you tell me how many blocks are in this red long block? How many little blocks are in this one? There are 10 of them, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So every time you see a red block, know that that stands for 10. And every time you see a purple block, know that that stands for just 1. Okay, so with that being said, now let's try and see what these ones represent. So we have got, how many of the flat blocks do we have? We have got 2, but we know that it doesn't just stand for 2, does it? It stands for 200, right? Because if this is 100 and this is 100, 100 plus 100 is 200. How many 10s do we have? We've just got one red line over here, so it is just one of them. But we know that one block isn't just 1, it stands for 10. And then how many little purple blocks do we have? We only have 3. So you have got 200 plus 10 plus 3. And when you've got something written out like this, we call it expanded. Can you think of the next word? Notation. Okay, so every time you see something written with plus and it shows that the 2 represents 200, the 1 represents 10, and the 3 represents 3, that is called expanded notation. Okay, so how would we write this as one big number? Okay, so we have got 200 plus 10 plus, what's our last digit? Yep, it's 3. So how would you write that number down now? If you said 213, you are correct, okay? So you would write this top one as 213. It is 200 plus 10 plus 3. The 200 goes over here, the 10 here, and the 3 there, okay? Now let's look at the next one. You have got 3 flat blocks, 5 long blocks, and 8 small blocks. Okay, so remember that each of those you have got 3 of the flat blocks, and each one of those stands for 100. So you've got 100, 200, 300. Then for this one, you have got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Well done. And how many small blocks do you have? You have got 8. Okay, so now you've got 358. And we would represent that as 3, 5, 8. The value of this is 300, but we just use the 3 to represent the number. Just use the digit 5, and we just use that digit 8. Okay, which one is expanded notation? Is it this one or this one? If you said this one, well done. 300 plus 50 plus 8 is in the expanded notation form. Okay. So if you read that little block over here, it says writing a number like 368 is 300s plus 6 tens plus 8 units, or 300 plus 60 plus 8 is called writing the number in expanded notation. When you expand something, you make it bigger. So you're showing it in its biggest form, in its most drawn out form, as opposed to when it's in its most concise form, all together as just 368. Okay, so we've got this last one over here. So you have got 100 plus another 100. So that's going to be the number 200. And then you have got the number 30 and 8. So you have got 238. 200 plus 30 plus 8. Okay, this is the expanded notation, and this is in the shortest form. If you were asked to write it in the word form, you would have to write out each of these as its words. So it would be 200, 200, and 30. And remember, between these two, you always use a little dash, and you have got 8. 238. Okay. Let's look at the next one here. There are 543 crocodiles in St. Lucia in South Africa. Write 543 in words. And then the second question is to write 543 in expanded notation. And we can see that the solution is here in the textbook. Okay, it tells us that 543 in words, and you can see how it is spelt. Note that the word 40 is F-O-R-T-Y, but if you just have to write the number 4, it's F-O-U-R. Okay, it is weird, I know, but we just have to roll with it. Okay, so just know that every time you have to write 40, you need to write it like this. Okay, and every time you see the number 4, you've got to write F-O-U-R. Okay. And so it asks for it in words, so you give it in words. Okay, over there. Then the second question is write 543 in expanded notation. That means you have to write 500 plus 40 plus 3. You have to tell us what each digit represents. So it's not just 5 of the little purple ones there. Remember, it's 5 of the big blue ones, then 4 red ones, and then 3 purple ones. So that's what you're saying. You're saying 5 hundreds plus 4 tens plus 3 units, or like this. Okay. Now it's time for you to do your exercise. I have written the date for you in your textbook and the heading. But here is an example of how every day you should do your work. You've got your date, your exercise number, and then your heading, and then you do all of your examples, and then you rule off. Have fun, everyone, and please feel free to message me or email me if you have any questions, or get your parents to do that. Thank you, and bye.